Hey guys, welcome back. This will probably be my last video for Minecraft anyway, or for this base, because I think I've probably shown everything that I wanted to. I could go into depth and do some tutorial-like things, but there's plenty out there, I think, so I'm not really going to do that, I don't think, and just explain the last part of my base, which is kind of why I started this run in the first place. What I wanted to do was I wanted to do a lot of automation, so I didn't have to do things myself, but also to process things as efficiently as I could. So this is actually the second playthrough of this mod pack that I did. And the first, I did a lot of things similar, but not quite. I didn't play as long, and I learnt quite a few things as I went, so I refined them and then went back and did this one, which I think is much better, which is why I'm showing you this. The other one I didn't spend as long in as well. But as I said, what I was trying to do was, I was kind of inspired by a challenge that I saw, which was to create, I think it was 1 million iron ingots or 1 billion or something like that. So a crazy amount of resources, which I didn't get anywhere near, but I just saw that and thought that's a really interesting way of processing things. So I tried to emulate and do things in a similar fashion. So these rooms that I'm about to show you were to do with ingot processing and trying to maximize the efficiency of them. So I started off with this room here, which is just processing iron ingots. So I'll try and walk you through it relatively quickly, but also explain the processes. And then when I show you the other rooms, they're all the same, but just for different ores. So I think I said when I looked at the void ore miners that if I'd fix them all up, you'd see this is a black hole unit and stores a huge amount of resources. So this one's for iron ore, but because I haven't set up the other ore miners at the moment, and I think there's only one running, that's why you can just see the ores popping in and out, because there's not actually enough to start to fill it up. So you can just see that there are some popping in, but they get instantly put into these. So that's why you're not really seeing this fill up. But if they were all processing, this would have a huge amount of ingots in it. Or sorry, not ingots. Then the ingots get there once they go through all the machines. So there are 4 layers of machines here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And you can actually, this will triple your ores. There is actually a way to get 5 times your ores from the same mod pack. So this is mechanism again. It does involve another extra step, which is very tricky, which involves many steps just to get the one resource that you need. So I did do that in my previous playthrough to get 5 ingots from 1 ore, but it was too time consuming and would have taken up a lot of space. So I just went with the triple ore tripling for this run. So the ores come in to here, all right, through here, and a lot of the stuff is behind the wall. So you can see again that some of these are facades, like we talked about with the ME system, because there'll be cables behind here that run and put them on top. So they're coming in here, the ores, and they get processed into iron clumps. And they do need oxygen to do this. So you can see that there's oxygen here, and that's done through the water. I did initially have this water set up, but then I realized sinks are just much more practical and easier to use. So I left this here because of the way it's looked, but I don't actually use the water here. I'm just using the sink. So the water comes through here. I need these electrolytic separators, which I think we saw in the previous episode, separates water into hydrogen and oxygen. We only want the oxygen. So oxygen flows into these machines from the bottom here through this cable, and then the hydrogen gets dumped. That's why I've got dumping excess on, so that this keeps working. If that wasn't on, it would stop. These machines would stop. So you can see that this is full because these are not working to full capacity because I don't have those other ore miners set up. But if they were, these would all be running all the time. And one of the beauties about these is you can actually put upgrades in here. So you can see that I have speed upgrades. You're allowed 8 of each. At the moment, I have 1 of 8. And the reason for that is because some of these machines work at different speeds. So a lot of the time was actually spent trying to work out how many of the speed upgrades I need in there to make these work at their optimal pace and so on. I also should mention that these machines are extremely loud. I've actually turned them right down and it's still this noisy, which is one of the upgrades that you can actually get. If you see in the bottom, you can see which ones. So there's an energy one, which means it uses less energy, and the muffling one means it actually turns the sound down, which I've seen people who are proper YouTubers actually put them in, and I wouldn't because I'm just playing, you know, by myself. But if I was to do this for a living, I'd probably put that in because it'd be annoying for the audience. But anyway, so this turns iron, the iron clumps, into the dirty iron dust. Doesn't need anything else apart from the machine, the energy. That machine's not working because we're not using too many of them. And then this machine, the enriching factory, turns dirty iron dust into iron dust. All right, and sorry, I haven't shown you the cables, but that's what they all do. So the input for this one is behind where you can't see. The output comes through here, it flows through into the machines here. This is the output, so it flows it into here. This is the output. All right, and one of the things about these is that they do need to be configured. So it shows you how everything's configured, but there is a great addition to this mod pack where you can actually put all the configurations onto a card and just swipe it across all, so you don't have to go into each one and configure all of them the same. So anyway, the iron dust comes out here, and then we've just got the smelting facilities where it turns the iron dust into ingots, and the output's on the back of these machines, and it comes around and puts it into this black hole unit as well. So you can see there are 7 million iron ingots in there, and this has a storage bus on the bottom so that it doesn't go into my ME system, but it can be accessed from my ME system if I wanted it to. So you can see here there are 7.1 million. And actually, I don't know if this one's hooked up. Only one of them is. I'll show you, because I've got 2 iron ingot rooms, but only one of them is actually hooked up to my ME system, because I'll never need 7 million iron ingots. I'll talk about this one next. There's actually 4 rooms, sorry, not 3. So I did the same thing, but with gold. And you can see, I think when I looked at this before I started this video, this was at 6.8. So I think this is actually going down because all my machines, as I said, the miners are not actually set up. You can also see that this isn't fully optimized, because at the moment, these ones look like they're all running, but I've got this one at the end, and you can see because there's no color or anything, is not running, and this one at this end is also, there you go, it's just turned on, so not running to full capacity either. So exact same setup. All right, ores come in, process with oxygen, turns it into 3 gold clumps. All right, same setup here. Moves the gold clumps over, turns it into the dirty dust. This cleans it up, the enriching cleans it up into the gold dust. The gold dust goes into the smelters. The smelters turn them into ingots. All right, so exactly the same process. There you can see you got 6 million gold ingots. I didn't want to do a huge facility for each of the ingots in the game, because there have been a whole bunch added through the different mod packs, so it's not just the few that you normally see. So there's a whole bunch. So I've done the same thing, but with all the different ores that you can get in these mod packs. So I've set them up down here. So I think this one's lead, and this one might be tin, I think. If we have a look here, we can see, oh no, it's osmium. Okay, so they're processing. So the ores come into here, same thing, go through the exact same process, but I've only got 5 machines for each instead of 10 or 12 or whatever I had in the other rooms, and they get processed down to the end. So I've got that set up, but for each of the different ores in the game. So you can see I've got 2 more there, another 2 there. I'm getting reasonably low on that one. I think that might be silver. Very low on those 2, again, because I haven't got all the miners set up. And then these are, I think they're both, one's uranium, the other's the copper ore here. So this is the uranium which I needed for my power facility. So if I was going to continue playing this, I would fix this up, fix those void ore miners up very quickly, the ones that I had set for uranium, because I need that uranium to power my base. If the power goes down, I'm going to have a very hard time getting it back with the amount of uranium that I need. So anyway, it processes through all the same machines, enriching facility, smelting. Right, and then they get stored here. So you can see that's my copper, that's uranium. And I've got the same for each. So you can see not as many ingots as for the iron or for the gold because I use them the most. And they're also the most frequent that you get. But I did need some of these. I don't need 2 million of each, but I did need some of them. So I set that facility up as well. And then for my iron, I realized I wasn't doing it as quickly as I needed to because I was getting too many ores. As I talked about though, because the miners are off at the moment, I'm not actually getting that many. So I did the same thing as I already had, but I don't know, doubled it, tripled it, quadrupled it. I don't actually remember how many more I put in here, but I did put a whole bunch more. So it's the same setup. So I won't go through everything, but it's just been set up with a lot more of each. So if you can see from here, I actually put the machines next to each other so I didn't have all the cables running all over the place. So the smelting facility is here and the enriching facility is just behind it, so it can pass straight through the machines and I don't need to put these pipes in. So I still need some pipes but not quite as many. So 3 machines here. So the crushing one, the iron clumps come in here, turns it into the dirty dust. The dirty iron dust gets cleaned into iron dust and then comes into the smelter. So exactly the same thing as I was doing on the other one, but it just flows through the 3 machines instead of using all the cables, and then this is output into there. So each of these is what, 6 of the machines. So that's what, 18 just there. Then I've got same setup here with the purifying one behind where the ores come into. This one also has the ores in, but they're behind the wall here. So there is actually a 4th machine behind here. So they're in blocks of 4. So here's another block of 4. So there's what, 18 of those machines. Here's another block of 4. Here's another block of 4. Another and another. So I've got 6 blocks of 4 with 18 in each. Right, and there's 4 machines in each, right? So that's a lot of machines. So this one I started much later than the other ones. And as you can see, it's up to, sorry, let me just turn that off. Okay. It's just overtaken the other one. And the other one would have been running for a lot longer than this one. So yeah, the reason why I left this to last is because this was kind of the purpose of my playthrough this time. I wanted to set up something like this to see how far I could take it. And I could just keep expanding it if I did want to do the challenge, like what the people did on YouTube with the 1 billion ingot challenge. Or I could just leave this running while, you know, I went to work or anything like that, if I wanted to do that. But once I'd set it up, I was kind of like, that's really what I wanted to do, and just seeing it go up is just waiting for another number. So I think that was all I needed to do. And as we talked about with power, this is where power from the reactor comes down here and powers all of the machines in here. And as you can see, because there are what, 18 times 4 times 6 in here, there's a lot of machines, needs a lot of power, and a lot of these have the speed upgrades, which speeds it up, this one by 16%, 16 times, but also makes the energy use a lot higher. So you can see it's got full energy, but that's because I have a separate system. It wasn't working on the other one. So yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else I really want to explain. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you found it a little bit interesting. I know it's a bit different to what people are used to, but this is the type of Minecraft that I'm interested in. I know it's not what everyone is in. Everyone talking about the PvPs and all that kind of stuff. I'm definitely into building things and trying to make them as smart and as efficient and as well run as possible. That's the kind of stuff that interests me. So yeah, hope you like that. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see if there's any interest for other videos after this. I have a few ideas, but we'll just see how that goes. Otherwise, this might be it. So yeah, thank you all again. Enjoy the rest of your holidays.